Awesome. Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming. This is our third webinar. And so today's topic is focusing on circle time mastery and classroom engagement. I don't know about you, but I love a good circle. And so, you're probably already conducting circles in your classroom. So this is just kind of a guide to help you in case you're coming into problems or you notice some things are not working right, or if you kind of want a refresher and kind of get some new ideas. So this hopefully will help you with that. And so for today's webinar, we're really going to delve into the strategies and techniques that will help you master circle time and create a dynamic and engaging classroom environment for your students. And so if this is your first time, welcome. If you've been here before, you already know who I am, but just kind of a refresher, my name is Darlene Ayala. I am the director of Bumo work in Century City, in addition to a provider success coordinator for Bumo. I have many years in the ECE realm, about 12. I've done all the roles. I've been the assistant before. I've been the lead teacher, site director, and director. My passion is Montessori, so I'm not sure if you joined us for our first webinar about Montessori, but you would know that. And I hold two Montessori credentials, one for infant toddler and one for preschool age students. I also hold both a master's and bachelor's degree in child development. My commitment lies in creating a loving, joyful, safe, and nurturing environment for all students, families, and staff members. And so I would like to get to know some of you guys. So in the chat, if you can put your name, the school that you work at, if you're part of our Bumo network, and what's your favorite thing about circle time. Go on ahead. Perfect. And then as you're jotting that down, I'm just going to go over a quick outline of what this webinar will be talking about. Hi, Lizette, Spark Preschool, awesome. Where is that located? What city? Hollywood, nice. Nice. Yeah, I love seeing kids talk about their day too. Hi, Adriana. That's so exciting. I'm so excited for you. Morning songs. Yes, I love a good morning song too. Perfect. We'll keep those coming in and I'll check back. So our outline for today, understanding the importance of circle time, preparing for circle time success, facilitating effective circle time, interactive activities and demonstrations. So actually throughout my presentation, we're going to do some interactions within. And then, hi, Lupe, Windmill School. Nice. Welcome. We're going to do some interactive activities. I'm going to be singing for you. Now, just a heads up, I'm not a singer. So, I'm not Selena Gomez, but I will try my best. And honestly, the kids don't care. They honestly don't care how you sound, how your singing skills are. Just wanted to let you know ahead of time that I'm not a good singer, but I want to sing some songs that I sing within my circle time when I do conduct a circle time, just so you can kind of see. And then at the end, normally I do a Q&A, but I'm changing it up a little bit where we're going to do a sharing portion. So I would love for you to share some songs that you might sing that you love and that you notice the kids really love and are engaged in, maybe some fun books that you want to share as well. If you know a really good YouTube song or channel, you can put that in the chat too. And really just making this a resource for all of us so we can have and that we can use for our circle time and in our classrooms. So let's go just jump into it. So what is circle time, right? And so we're really gonna dig deep into the history about it a little bit and understand where it came from, who kind of invented it, and all that fun stuff. So historical context for circle time. The concept of circle time can be traced back to the early 18th century with roots in progressive education theories. Key figures in the development of early childhood education, such as Frederick Frobel and Maria Montessori, of course. They emphasize the importance of group activities and social interaction in young children's learning experiences. And so really, Frederick Frobel, he's an early education pioneer, and he's considered the grandfather or the father of kindergarten. And so he first implemented circle activities for children in the mid 1800s. And so he developed a series of games that were age appropriate for children within a circle type of environment within the classroom. And so today, circle time, it continues to be a fundamental component of early childhood education, recognized for its role in fostering social and emotional development, building a sense of community, and introducing foundational academic concepts in an engaging and age-appropriate manner. It remains a valuable practice in preschools and primary classrooms worldwide. And so going back again, so circle time is a structured and interactive activity commonly used in early childhood education settings, such as preschools and elementary schools. It involves bringing a group of children together in a circle to engage in various educational and social activities. Circle time typically takes place on the floor or in a designated area where children can sit in a circle, often with the teacher or facilitator leading the lesson. And during their circle time, there's a bunch of different activities that take place, right? And so sometimes, well, the majority of times when you do your morning circle, it consists of certain elements. And so we're gonna go over those elements one by one. And so the morning greeting, I heard, Adriana really liked the morning songs. So we're going to talk about those and dive into those. Calendar and weather, storytelling, songs and rhymes, group discussions, and show and tell. Now, your circle time might look a little different and might not include all of these elements, but that's okay. You're making it your own. You're making it what the children like and what they enjoy. So I'm not saying you need to have it just like this. You need to implement all of these elements, but these are kind of like the basics that we normally see within a circle time. And so we're going to talk about morning circle or morning greeting and what that looks like. So children and the teacher greet each other, fostering a sense of belonging and community. And that could be in many different ways, right? And so these are some songs that normally we hear in a morning circle time. And so if you're not familiar with these songs, totally fine. You can take a picture. We'll share these slides with you later. But if you want to take a snapshot of these songs and kind of try to implement them within your circle, if you're thinking of a new morning song, these songs are really great. My go-to one is this Good Morning song over here. This is the one that I sing to the students every morning when I'm in the classroom. So if you're a director of a school, sometimes you have to go into the classroom because a teacher called off or whatever the case may be. And so I've been in the classroom a couple of times this week. And so I've been conducting circle time, which I enjoy, brings back that passion that I love for education. And so I go into this song and the kids love this song. It's so basic, but it's so easy and it's so fun and it gets them going, getting ready for the morning. And so I'm going to sing my version of it because I added some additions to it. So this is how I sing it. Good morning, how are you? How are you? Very well, thank you. Very well, thank you. How about you? How about you? And after I sing all of that, I go one by one to each child and say their names and they shake my hand. So for example, I'll say, good morning, Justin. Hello, Justin. Good morning, Justin. We're glad you're here today. And Justin will come up and he'll shake my hand. And then I'll go on to the next one. Good morning, Adriana, and so on and so on and so on and so forth. Now, you might have some kiddos who don't want to shake your hand. And that's totally fine. I'm not going to force a child to shake my hand. Sometimes I don't want to shake people's hands. Totally fine. Instead, we'll give them a little wave. We'll say, good morning, Adriana. Hello, Adriana. It's totally fine. And so later on in this presentation, I'm going to tell you that, you might have a set game plan of how you want your circle to be. But in reality, you might have to make some changes. You're going to have to be flexible. You're going to have to adapt to how the children are that day, right? Because you never know. They could be super happy one day and then not into it another day. And so we're going to talk about that later on. But yeah, so these can be a couple of songs that you can implement within your circle time. And I actually have a video of another one that I like. And so with this video, this really kind of goes into when you have a brand new class, which a lot of you probably do because it's September. And so, in this circle time, she's learning the kids' names as well. And so she's mentioning all of the children's name, which will help her memorize who's who, but it's also a good circle time too. I like it too. I like the song. For me though, it's a little slow, but you might like it. So I'm gonna play it for you just so you can have another idea and get some other inspiration for your morning circle greeting. And so I'm gonna go ahead and play it. This is the first time we're playing a video on a webinar, so we practice it. Hopefully it'll work. So I'm gonna go ahead and
In the beginning of a new school year, it is important for the teachers to learn the names of the students quite quickly. One way I like to do this is through song. It helps me and it helps the students remember their new classmates. So the song is a good morning song, and I like to teach rhythm and I like to teach names with the students, and it's okay. Sometimes I have them wear name tags in the first few days just to help me a little bit. But each song, they'll sit in a circle, and each time I will sing their name as I go around the song, singing good morning to my friends. So it goes like this. And I like to do these and then clap. It goes kind of like this. Good morning, good morning, good morning to you. Good morning, good morning, good morning to you. The day is beginning, there's so much to do. Good morning, good morning, good morning to you. Good morning, Henry. Good morning, Sammy. The day is beginning, I'm happy to see you. Good morning, good morning, good morning to you. And what you do is you just go around your whole circle, you sing good morning, and you use each person's name. And then you also remember to sing that I am happy to see you after every 2 or 3 names. This is one way that kids feel welcome and that I get to remember their names a little bit faster.
Perfect. So that was that. And so, I really like that one. It's not my cup of tea though for my classroom and how I like to do it, but it's just another way and you can greet in the morning for students. And so we're going to move on to the next slide. And so calendar and weather. So discussing the date of the week and weather and conditions, teach basic concepts of time and weather. And so in your classroom, you might have a board where you have the calendar, and so it might look like some of these, right? I think this is like the one we see all of the time, like the generic one. I don't know why, but there's always a blue calendar in one of the classrooms. But you might have a calendar that looks like this or something like this or something like this. They're all great. They all have the calendar, the number, the days of the week. Looks like they even have the weather. This one's fun because it looks like they kind of change it up depending on the month. So it looks like September is apples, October might be pumpkins, November might be turkeys, and so that's really nice to have as well. This one has a little bit of everything too. It's just in a different layout. And again, this one's always the generic one that everyone tends to gravitate towards, which is nothing's wrong with it. It's nice. It has a little individual slots where children can go up independently and put the numbers in the slots. So, either whatever works for you and whatever, your school obviously falls into the budget is a great way to have it. This is another slide where it can show, if you are on a strict budget, you can make your own. And so for this weather chart here, you can literally just get some cardstock, print it, and then cut the pieces and laminate them. It looks like they also added some Velcro to that as well. If you don't have Velcro or Velcro's not in your budget, you can just use tape. This is the calendar that I generally go towards. They're on the cheaper route and they're in a bundle like that. So they have all of those materials together. Normally you can get these at Lakeshore. You can probably get them on Amazon as well. And they don't come laminated. That's the only thing, is that you're gonna have to take everything out and cut everything and then run it through a laminator. I laminate mine at Lakeshore because they have the big ones. You're not going to be able to laminate the size of the calendar in a regular laminator that you have at work. at your school. So Lakeshore has the huge ones where you can just run them through, and it's about, I think if you laminate everything, it's about $6 if I remember. So it's not too bad. And this one looks like another weather chart that they made. You know, you can just easily, again, print it on cardstock, run it through a laminating machine, put a little brass pin inside, and there you go. This one looks handmade too. So, you know, it doesn't matter what it looks like, as long as it kind of has all of the materials that you need to conduct the daily weather, to conduct the daily dates, making sure that you have, that you mentioned the season, like what season are we in? You know, we just changed the seasons just last week. And so introducing the season of fall and making sure that we're letting children know about that. We're starting a new month, I think, on Sunday. So come Monday, you know, September should be off of there. We should have October up there, and we're talking about October now. So just making sure that we implement a lot of these things into our calendar and weather, I think, is important for students, and also making sure that they have the opportunity to participate. You might have a helping hand that day, so that helping hand might come and put the number of whatever day it is, and might change the weather, and might, you know, handle the whole board. And then tomorrow you pick another friend to be your helping hand. They love doing that. And so in addition to the calendar and weather, you know, we do sing a song. It's the 7 days of the week song. There's different ways and versions that you can do. This one is a cute one. It's to the tune of Darling Clementine. And I think it's like, there are 7 days, there are 7 days, there are 7 days in a week. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. That's easy, you know, straight to the point. I have one that I sing. It's just very basic. It's just, it's pretty much as similar as this. I just don't mention the 7 days. I just say Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And as you're singing it, you're pointing to the days of the week on the calendar so they can follow along and they can visually have a sense of, you know, what day comes after each day. There's another song that I like that I came across. There's this channel on YouTube called Super Simple Silly Songs, I think, or Super Simple Songs on YouTube. And they have some really, really good age appropriate songs for students. And I always gravitate towards this channel to get some songs. Yeah, Super Simple Songs. Thank you, Justin. And so this one, it sings the days of the week. And I think it's really cute. So I'll go ahead and play it for you. Let's see, here we go. After the ad. Okay.
Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
And it just keeps going on and on and on. I think it's really cute. You know, it's simple. I like the beat to it. It's super cute. Now, when you play a song, you know, from a YouTube channel or, you know, on your tablet, on the phone, I don't recommend showing the screen. And we'll talk more about the screen sharing in the classroom a little later, but you just want to hear the song. They just need to hear the song. And then you're just going to point to your calendar while you're singing along with the song. They don't need to see the character. They don't need to see the screen. All we really care about is just hearing the days of the week and singing along to it. So I think that's really important. And that's a fun, you know, fun song. So again, you can change it up. You don't have to use these if you have your own. You know, I would love to hear that at the end, if that's okay, just so we can all kind of share our ideas and just have that as an extra resource. So moving on, storytelling. Reading books or telling stories to promote language development and encourage a love for reading. Storytelling is really important during circle time. And the books are going to depend. You know, I always pick books relating to the theme that I'm, you know, teaching the kids. So for example, last week was all about apples. So all these different books, we're talking about apples, I think is important to have just because it correlates with what you're talking about and what you're learning about. This week we talked about fall. So we implemented some fall books within our in our school time. Next month is all about Halloween, their favorite holiday. So you want to incorporate some fun Halloween books for them as well. Now, obviously, you can pick whatever books you want. In the morning circle, I tend to gravitate more towards books that relate to our theme and relate to our curriculum. But depending on your schedule and how your school runs, you might have an afternoon circle. And so maybe that afternoon circle, you might read different books outside of the theme, outside of the curriculum, books that children really love. So I'm not saying just read these, this is all you read. You can read whatever you want. Just for me, I've noticed that I like to kind of stick to the theme because it just makes sense for me. Also, it just helps the kids learn about the topic that we're talking about as well. And so there's different ways of doing storytelling, right? It's not just books. You can also do felt stories. I love a good felt story. I actually made this one. I'm super proud. I made that one a couple years ago. And so again, if you're on a budget and you can't really afford these materials, you can totally make them. I didn't make this one, but I have made one similar to it just because I couldn't find it anywhere. And so I just made it myself. Leaves, you can totally make leaves, just trace them. No, so you can totally make these items and make it your own and make it super fun. And so I know there's a book, the Five Little Pumpkin book, and there's also a song. So it's fun for you to kind of mix and mingle some of these storytelling. Sing the Five Little Pumpkin song while you're interacting with the felt story. There is a song with I think it's 5 apples on a tree or something like that. And so I correlate that song to the felt story. So it's like a 2-in-1 for them. And they love felt stories. And I also get them engaged, and I also let them, help me interact with the felt story. So with the apples falling down from the tree, I have one of them come and let it fall down, and they take it back to their circle. And another child comes and takes an apple and takes it back to their circle. And so really getting them engaged and really encouraging them to participate is really important if you're doing a felt story. In addition to felt stories, you can do puppets, right? I think that we kind of steer away from puppets a lot of the time, which I'm not sure why, but they're fun. Some might be a little scary, so maybe not those, but some are fun. There's also finger puppets too. You can you can combine a book with the puppet. That's really, giving an extra visual for students. And so this is a different way to do storytelling. So I think it's important to mix it up a bit. Yes, books are amazing and books are needed, but we can change it up a little bit to make it more interesting and more exciting for the students during circle time, especially if you, let's say, you notice that the kids are no longer engaged, you have some wandering around, you have some laying down. Maybe it's because you're reading books all the time and maybe they're just kind of over it. And so it's, as a teacher, it's your job to get creative and to come up with some ideas that can get them engaged. And we're going to talk more about engagement later on, but it's something that you need to look into and to come up with some ideas to get your kids engaged and involved. So there are some ideas for storytelling. It's not all about books. There's a lot of other ways we can do storytelling. And then moving on to songs and rhymes, right? Reading books or I already said that. So songs and rhymes. So going back to, this is what I was mentioning about the 5 Little Apples. So I sing this song when I present the felt story song. And so singing songs and reciting rhymes really enhance language skills. And so for me, going back to the theme relation, I always try to have songs relating to the theme. And so these were kind of our jams these last 2 weeks. It was apples, apples, apples. And then once you sing a song consistently, they'll start memorizing it and they'll go home and they'll sing it. And then parents are like, oh my gosh, they were singing this song. What's that song? I want to know. And so you share it with the parents and they're all singing it. And so it's really nice to hear that they're singing it at home. That means they're enjoying the songs. And so this is the 5 Little Pumpkin song that I was talking about. That's a really big hit. Funny story, when I was in the classroom, I think it was in the classroom Tuesday. I was telling the students, I was like, hey, next month is a new month. Do you know what month it is? And everybody's like, naming all these other months besides the month that it is. And so I was like, it's October. Do you know what happens in October? And they're, they don't know. They're coming up with all these different things. I was like, we're going to see lots and lots of pumpkins. Do you like pumpkins? And then we're all talking about pumpkins. And then I go into saying, I have a really, really fun song I'd like to share with you. Can I sing the song to you? And they're like, yeah, sing it, sing it, sing it. And so I'm singing a song and they're just all like, all eyes are on me. And I love it because they love this song. They love it so much. And, if you do it right and you do all the hand movements, you really get them engaged. And so I always like to incorporate this song with the felt story. I didn't show them the felt story yet. I just wanted to give them a little sample of what to expect for next month, just to get them excited for next month. And, lots of things are happening, I'm sure, in your school as far as Halloween celebrations, fire safety and all of that. But I just really want to get them excited and for them to hear this song. And so by their reaction of me giving that little sample, I know it's going to be a hit. So I'm super excited to share that with them. And so other songs, besides just singing, and we can do instruments. Instruments is a really great way to do songs within circle time. Changing it up, you can do shakers, you can do maracas, you can do little drums, it goes on and on and on, all the things that you can implement within your circle. Going back, super simple songs is a really good channel, which has a lot of good songs on there. Kid Boomers too, they have really good songs too. Some of them can be a little long and just kind of like, okay, we're done. So make sure you hear it before you present it to the students, just to make sure it's appropriate and just to make sure they're going to be engaged with it. And there's this artist called Frank Leto. He's really popular within the Montessori community. He has a bunch of different songs. It is old school. If you hear it, it might sound a little too slow for you, but the kids love it. I don't know what about it, but they love it so much. And he has this one song, it's called Come On Everybody. And his version is a little too slow for me, so I kind of changed it up a little bit. And so every Friday we sing this song. And so I'm going to sing a little bit for you. It's long, so I'm not going to sing everything, but I'll sing a little bit. So it goes, come on, everybody, clap your hands. And you can participate. Come on, everybody, clap your hands. Come on, everybody, because we're going to have a party. Come on, everybody, clap your hands. Come on, everybody, blink your eyes. Come on, everybody, blink your eyes. Come on, everybody, because we're going to have a party. Come on, everybody, blink your eyes. Come on, everybody, click your tongue. Come on, everybody, click your tongue. Come on, everybody, because we're going to have a party. Come on, everybody, click your tongue. And it goes on and goes on. They pat their head, they stomp their feet. It's a whole thing. And so they know every Friday we're singing our party song. And so this song is specifically only for Fridays, just to get them excited for the weekend, to get us excited for the weekend. It's a really nice song that we sing during circle time. And so there's another song that I like. You might have heard it. It's a freeze dance song. And so again, going back to your different circle times, right? So this song I would probably play in the afternoon time, where for me, the afternoon circle time is more of non-theme, non-curriculum related songs and books, where it's more fun and more enjoyable, because it could be considered like after school time. So they're done learning about apples, they're over the learning about whatever it is they're learning about in the morning time. So the afternoon makes it more fun. And also it could be a long day for them. A lot of them are there until 6. And so having this circle time like around 3, 4 is a good way for them to kind of regenerate and get their energy back up, because a lot of them they're just tapped out and they're done. So this song can be really helpful to making them wake up and get back in the groove of things. So this one is Kid Boomers as well. So I'm going to play a little snippet of this one.
Let's play the party freeze game. Now remember, when I say freeze, freeze. And when I say dance,
dancing, dancing all around. Dancing, 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 dancing any way you
stop. When I say
You have to be so dramatic when you freeze. You have to go. Make sure everybody freezes.
everybody is ready to hop.
hopping, hopping all around. Hopping, hopping, hopping. I've been lately waiting.
Stop when I say.
And they love that song. That's my top request is a freeze dance. And so again, though, we're not going to show them the screen. They don't need to see what's happening on the screen. They can just hear and listen. So every time I play it, I either play it with the Bluetooth speaker, or if it's on my phone or on a tablet, my phone's facing down so they don't see it. And if they try to take a little sneak peek, then it just goes in my pocket and we're just going to listen to it. Sometimes they want to do that. And so, but again, we want to distract them from that. And we want them really get them up and engage and dancing along to the song. And so they really like that one. Another song that we like is the sound song. This is another Montessori song, very popular within the Montessori community, but you can use it in your classroom. It's a sound song. So in just going back to Montessori, sorry, I keep bringing it up, but in the Montessori realm, we introduce the sounds first instead of identifying the letters. And so this song really helps them learn the sounds. Now, this is an old school song as well, but for some reason, the kids love this song. They can literally sit down and listen to this song over and over again. And so I get requests for this song as well. And I'm going to play I'm not going to play the whole thing because it goes from A all the way down to Z. So I'm going to play a little bit of it, and then I'm going to give you some examples of what I incorporated into the song, just so it's a little bit more exciting for the kids after that.
Do you know these letter sounds? Do you know these letter sounds? They will help you learn to read. They will help you learn to read. Apple, apple, a, a, a. Apple, apple, a, a, a. Baby, baby, ba, ba, ba. Baby, baby, ba, ba, ba. Cookie, 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 cookie.
And it goes on and on and on and on. And so I know it looks a little boring, but honestly, the kids love it. And so when we sing it, I really like to point to my mouth as I'm saying the sound so they know that they're saying it correctly. And so they're always looking at my mouth. They're like, ooh, let me see your mouth. And so, they're just watching the way that I move my mouth when I make the sounds of all of the sounds. And so one way that you can do, because we're not showing the screen, is I have created cards that go along with all of the objects that are presented. So I have a cookie, I printed out a cookie with the K on it, I laminate them. And so every time they go through the alphabet, I'm picking up my card and showing them. So that's one way you can do to get them engaged and interactive. Another thing is actually having the objects on hand. So let's say we were talking about Adam, it said apple, I have an apple, so I'm pointing to the apple. The next is baby, I have a baby, a real baby. You can pass the baby around while we're saying but. There's different ways. Another way, you can just have letters. You can have the letters printed out, laminate them, have it when A pops up, pop A up, when B comes up, pop up B, so they can see it. Because again, they're not looking at their screen, we're not showing them, so they need some type of visual to go along with it. And so that's one way you can do, one way you can interact with the kids and also have the music go hand in hand. Another thing that we like to implement in circle time is group discussions. Talking about a specific topic or theme to encourage critical thinking and group interaction. So during my group discussions, it just, again, goes back into the theme and what we're talking about. And so, again, we talked about apples. We talked about the life cycle of an apple and parts of an apple. So those are kind of our discussions that we talked about during our morning circle time. So next month, it's going to be all about pumpkins. And so we're going to talk about what a pumpkin looks like. I'm going to have a real pumpkin for them to explore and touch and feel. And then eventually we're going to talk about what's inside a pumpkin. What do you think's inside a pumpkin, Justin? Can you tell me what you think's inside? And then you're going to hear what they say. And like, oh, what about you, Adriana? What do you think's inside a pumpkin? And that's how you can really start discussions, by asking these open-ended questions. And they can go on, maybe unicorns, maybe cars. Cars is a popular one. Whatever their imagination takes them. And then so you can say, I don't know what's inside a pumpkin, but tomorrow we're going to find out because we're going to open this pumpkin and we're going to check together to see what's inside. And they get so excited about it, and so it's really fun talking about things like that. And so you could talk about themes, but you can also talk about, curriculum and make it fun and engaging. So, this teacher looks like she's talking about numbers and making it fun and interactive for them. It looks like she might be making a mask with the number 8, sorry, with the number 8. So you can do something like that with numbers, and it's not really relating to a theme, but it is relating to some type of curriculum academic, right? This is actually my class at Bumo work. This is little Maxie. And so we are learning APA. And so he's matching the object to the sound. And so we did this as a group. I made all of these cards. I made the letters. I laminated them. And so I laid down all the letters on the ground. And then I picked a random card and said, this is cat. Where's k? Jordy, can you show me where k is? And he'll go and put it wherever he thinks it is. And so they might be wrong, and that's okay. You never want to say, no, that's not right. You just say, oh, do you think that's right? Let's listen one more time. Going back and see if they change their mind. If they don't change their mind, that's okay. We don't ever want them to feel bad. And we just want to encourage them. So that's some other ways that you can develop group discussions by doing these group activities within your circle. Another way, show and tell. So show and tell might take place like on a Friday. And so this gives students the opportunity to express themselves, share some of their items, and it promotes communication, self-expression, and self-confidence. It could take a lot for a young child to stand in front of their peers and talk about something, especially if they're shy. If they're shy, that's totally fine. We have some shy students who are just not for that, and that's totally fine. We're not going to force them, but it gives them opportunity to watch other students, and maybe that'll motivate them later on to want to come up and talk about whatever it is they want to talk about. And so for show and tell, if you're learning about space and you ask them to bring, if you have anything at home, space related, bring it to class and they can bring it. I know the first week of school was all about me. So we asked our parents to bring in a photo of their child. So every child brought a photo and they talked about their photo. The next week was all about family. So they brought a family photo to share. So it can be whatever you want it to be. It can relate to the theme. It doesn't have to be whatever you want. Looks like this child was sharing her baby brother or sister with her friends. So that's really sweet too. But this just gives an extra opportunity for them to develop their language skills, to feel confident within themselves, and to give them opportunities to express themselves and to show some items that they have from home, which is really nice. And again, you don't have to do show and tell every day. Normally it happens on a Friday. Just one day out of the week would be fine. And so some research. So research-backed benefits of circle time. And so looking at some of the research, circle time is a useful intervention strategy because it can help to develop people's social skills, improve self-esteem, and can address the needs of people with behavioral difficulties. Circle time can help people to cooperate with one another and leads to improvement in people's speaking and listening skills. Circle time can encourage pupils to extend their social networks and foster new friendships. Through the use of circle time, pupils develop more positive relationships with one another, thus creating a climate where pupils learn to treat each other with respect. So there's a lot of benefits for circle time. And even if you go into Google Scholar and you just put benefits of circle time, there's going to be a tons more. And so as you can see, these are kind of dated, but it just shows you some of the benefits that were found back in the 1900s, right? And so current research, there's other research that is a little bit more current that shows some positive benefits of circle time. And so improves attention span, right? And so attention span, they're developing these skills by just sitting down, listening to the songs, listening to the stories, listening to these discussions. And so they're developing that that span, because a lot of the time for our younger kids, they can only sit for a certain amount of minutes, right? And so having consistent circle time really gets them motivated and really gets them to expand that. Obviously, they're learning language development, right? They're improving those skills just by talking to one another, sharing their stories, sharing their items from home, singing, reading, all of these things that are being implemented with circle time. They're learning language development and they're increasing their skills. Emotional regulation, circle time is a safe place for students to express their emotions. So, if they have big feelings, they can express that during circle time. And I always tell the students, this is a safe place. If you're sad, that's okay to be sad. If you're mad, that's okay to be upset. But maybe the song will help you feel better. And so we'll sing a fun song or whatever it is, just to kind of help them out. Because, you have your students who just might have a bad morning, and you can kind of tell. And so if they're showing really big feelings, it's okay to switch up your circle time a little bit just to get them happy and get them engaged again. Increase confidence. Going back to show and tell, students who might be shy might not be ready for show and tell yet, but as the year progresses, maybe eventually they'll come and feel confident and share whatever it is they want to share. And so that's a big one, I think. Increasing confidence, sense of belonging, feeling more connected with their teachers and their peers. Circle time is kind of like an intimate time where we're all together. Normally throughout the day, we're all doing different things and we're all spread apart doing different activities or outside running around. But this gives us an opportunity to sit together as one and really feel that connection with everyone. And so these research, it's important for circle time as a valuable component of early childhood education, contributing to the holistic development of young learners by nurturing their social, emotional, and cognitive development skills. And so moving on to preparing circle time and to make sure that you have a successful circle time. So I have some tips for you. One tip, establish a routine, right? I feel that for circle time, you should, it doesn't have to be exactly like this, but you're going to sit down, you're going to do your morning song, you're going to go into a calendar, you're going to go talk about the weather, the season, then maybe you're going to read your book, then maybe you're going to do a song, and then maybe you're going to go into a group discussion. It should be somewhat similar every single day. Children love that. They love to know what's going to happen next. It's not unpredictable, it's not random. And so having that established routine is important. However, like I said before, you're going to have to be flexible because you might have a day, again, where students are just not for it and they don't want to sit down, they don't want circle time. And so that's okay. You can't force a child to participate in circle time. And so if they're just not feeling it, then you're going to have to change it up a little bit. Maybe we're going to go ahead and just do that freeze dance right now, and that's okay. You don't have to just stick to the book. You don't have to stick to your game plan. You're going to have to adapt to the children's needs. Prepare activities, be prepared, prepare ahead of time, be willing to adapt the plan if children are just not into it. Be intentional about what you want to share with the children, and so just making sure that we're prepared and not figuring out what we're doing the morning of, that's not okay. You need to have it ready to go, have an idea of what you want to do during circle time, have an idea what books you want to have, having everything ready to go. We're not going to go in 5 minute or 2 minute circle time about to start. We're not going to go off and run and looking for a book. It's already going to be there, ready to go and ready to sit down and have that circle time. Because, honestly, if let's say you're at circle time, right? And you're like, oh no, I forgot my book. Now I have to go to another classroom to go get the book. You run to that classroom, get the book, you come back, they're done. They're done. They're not bored anymore. You just ruined it for them. And so just making sure that you're ready to go, you have everything and you're prepared is really important. Time considerations, that's just going back into being flexible and being mindful of the time. Because like I said, these youngsters, their time attention span is not all there, right? Your 5-year-olds might only be sitting for 10 minutes. Your 3-year-olds might only be sitting for 5 minutes, and it's just, you have to be mindful of that. And so we don't want to have 30-minute circles. That's just too much. Even 20 minutes is too much. Maybe even 15 is too much, however, let's say you're in a circle time and they're really engaged, they're really for it, they're really listening to you, they're really, giving you feedback, and you're like, oh, well, it's already been 10 minutes. Maybe I can stretch that a little bit more. Just because they're there, they're already engaged. Might as well just try to add 3 more minutes in there. That's totally fine. But let's say you're in circle time, you're 5 minutes in and everybody's just screaming and yelling and, laying down on the floor. You're not going to continue your circle time because what's the point? You're going to stop and you're going to say, okay, well, we're done for today. We're going to go on to snack time now. Or you could say, okay, everybody up, we're doing, whatever. Because that happens sometimes, right? And that's okay to do. We're never going to be like, okay, guys, we're doing circle time right now. I need everyone to get it together. No, we're not doing that. So just being mindful about that and being mindful of the ages that are in your class and being mindful of their realistic attention span. And this is a real crucial one. Be in circle time with the children as your focus. You know, making sure that when we're in circle time, we're in circle time. We're not having private discussions with our coworkers. We're not talking to our assistant about what happened over the weekend. We're not on the gram, you know, checking our whatever. We're there for the kids. We're there to create this secure and safe space right now. And you need to be physically and mentally there. If you're not, the kids will know and then they're going to drift away. So it's really important for you to be mindful about that and for you to be there for them. And if you're having a bad day, you know, let your assistant take over. You know, and we have those sometimes as educators. We're just not for it, which is okay. It's normal, it's natural, we're human. And so if you're just not for the circle that morning, that's okay. Just tell your assistant or, you know, ask somebody else, say, hey, can you take over circle for me because I'm just having a rough morning. Totally fine. And so another way is, you know, structuring your classroom to making sure that you have enough space for everyone. You know, you hate to go into circle time and there's not enough space for everyone or everyone can't see what's happening. And so some ways in which you can do that is having a carpet that has spots for children to sit, right? So this is an example. So there's a spot for every child to sit. There's this one where every child can sit on a letter. There's one here, the letters or the clouds children can sit on. And so that just gives children a spot to sit and then they're able to see what's happening. No one's missing out, everyone's fitting, everyone's sitting there. Now, if you're on a budget and you can't afford a carpet, not a problem, don't worry. You can do something like this where let's say there's individual carpets that you can have and children could sit down on there. You can create little felt circles or shapes for them too, or just even if you go to Michael's, they have like the rectangle shape felt, they can just get one of those, you know, whatever, it doesn't have to be fancy. But as long as there's a space for them, I think that's obviously the crucial component. Now, sometimes, you know, you in your mind, okay, it's circle time, so they need to sit in a circle, right? Not necessarily, they don't have to sit in a circle. They can sit wherever they want. I know when in my classroom, I had a carpet and I had these guys here. For me, they were all black. They're all one color. So we're not fighting over them. Everyone gets the same one, you know, because, you know, sometimes the kids wants the pink one and then it's a whole thing. So making sure it's one color could be beneficial for you too. But for me, I had these guys, these in a basket. And so when our morning circle started, they went to grab a circle and they sat wherever they wanted to sit. And that's totally fine with me. You know, that kind of gives them the freedom to be free in the classroom and for them to choose where they want to sit, as long as they saw me, right? So those are some ideas. And so other things is making sure that we're providing age appropriate materials and activities for the students, right? So the books that we read, making sure that they're not long and lengthy. We're not going to read a Harry Potter book, even though kids might say that I love Harry Potter, or you might like Harry Potter. We're not going to sit there and read a Harry Potter story to these kiddos, even if it's only like a page at a time. No, it's not appropriate. And so having these books, Pete the Cat, the kids love Pete the Cat. You know, they love David Goes to School. I don't know why they like that book, but they love it so much. And so having books that the kids love and that they enjoy, you know, let's say, I know before I used to have a library parent. And so I would tell parents, you know, please make sure that they're age appropriate, making sure there's pictures and yada, yada, yada. I had this one parent bring me like these thick books. I'm like, what am I doing with these books? But that's okay. I made it work. I just kind of showed them the book, turned the pages to the pages that had pictures on it, and just kind of made up my own story, you know. And that's fine to do too. If you have parents coming in and went out their way to go to the library, brought you books, you're going to make it work. You're not going to say no, these don't work. You know, you're going to make it work, and so you're going to figure it out, and you're going to create your own story. And that's another thing. You know, as teachers, we need to be creative, and just if we need to think on the spot, we need to think on the spot. That's just what it is. And songs, you know, again, Super Simple Songs is a really good channel with a lot of good songs. We're not going to listen to the radio, right? I remember I went into a classroom and they're doing a dance party, which is fun. I'm all for a good dance party, but we're not listening to Kiss FM. You know what I mean? And I told her about it, and it's like, well, this song is fine. It doesn't have any. I'm like, no, it's not fine. It's just not. No, we're not doing that. And so it's just not okay, right? Just have age appropriate songs. And so then going into age appropriate materials. Now, I rather do felt stories than screen time. And so for me in screen time, I'm not for it in the classroom. And so your school might have different policies. Your school might be a technology type of school, which is totally fine. But for me, I just feel like it's not needed. And there's a lot of research that shows how screens can affect children's development. And so, for example, there was this study that looked into the relationship between the amount of time that children were on screens and the child outcomes. And the results indicated that children had an increased likelihood of reported behavioral problems, delayed achievement of developmental milestones, and poor vocabulary acquisition. In all, the study suggested that the duration of screen time is associated with poor child development outcomes. Findings provide support for screen time and guidelines. So I think it's, so, for example, we know that kids are on their screens at home. Parents had a long day. They probably gave them the screen time, yada, yada, yada. And so let's say they're on that screen time for like about an hour, maybe 2 hours, and then they're coming to school and they're getting more screen time. It's just not appropriate. And for me, this is just me, I feel that a lot of the time when kids are propped up on a screen at school, it's because the teachers don't know how to teach, and so then we have to go back into making sure that we're, as directors, that we're providing the proper educational tools for them and that we're providing professional development for them, and so we just want to make sure that that's not happening. They don't need to see a screen. They don't need to watch a video. We need to teach them doing different ways and doing different activities like felt stories, like storybooks, like singing songs, So, but however, again, like I said, every school is different. Every school has its own policies and the way that they're teaching things. I'm not saying screens are totally bad and totally wrong and never, never, never. No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying when they're at school, it's best that they not use screens unless, again, for educational purposes or whatever the case is. And so facilitating an effective circle time, right? Addressing common challenges and disruptions. Now, I know a lot of you probably come across some of these challenges within your circle. Lack of attention, right? Again, you might have children who are just not cooperating. And so it's our job as teachers to get them interactive, get them engaged. And so making sure that we're using props, making sure we're using visuals, making sure we're doing movement and all of these things that I've suggested. And so if there's continue to lack attention, then that's something that you're doing wrong. And don't feel afraid to ask your assistant, hey, you saw my circle, like, what do you think about it? What do you think I need to add? What do you think I need to change? Don't be afraid to ask for help and ask for advice. Disruptive behavior. You have one child who likes to be silly, 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 and then another child wants to be silly, 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 just like them. And so making sure that we redirect their attention to you, I think is important. And again, let's say one child's up, another child's up, now they're all up running around. So at that point, you're done with whatever you're doing and you're getting up and you're going into either a song or a dance that involves movement, because it looks like that they need some movement right now because everybody's up and running around. And so getting them back into circle time and doing a movement activity would be beneficial for you, or just stop circle and then you're just going to go on to activities and then you can come back to circle later on, and again, don't think that you need to finish circle, that you need to get through it. It's totally fine if you stop because the children are done. And again, we're going based off the children's needs. Shyness or reluctance. Again, you're going to have some children who are shy, and so they might not want to participate. They might not want to shake my hand in the morning time. Totally fine. That's okay. Eventually they will. And so it's one thing you don't want to force, but they're going to be watching everybody else, and eventually they're going to be motivated to do so. Lack of engagement. Again, making sure that we're just providing the proper activities for students for them to be engaged within your circle time is important. Songs, dance, all of that is really important for that. Consistency, like I said, making sure we have that routine, making sure we're following it every day, day by day. Ensure that the content is age appropriate and relevant to experiences with that consistency. And so making sure that, one day we're reading a very difficult book and another day we're reading an age appropriate book. Like, no, it should be age appropriate the whole time, every day that you're doing a circle, and just being consistent about it. Transition difficulties. For transition, we do have some students who have a hard time transitioning from one activity to the next. And so one thing that I like to do is sing a song, of course. Songs make everything better. It's not the cleanup song, because I do have a song that we clean up and then we go into circle time. And it's just a simple song that I I came up with. Oh my gosh, how does it go? I'm trying to think how it goes. But it just gets them engaged, it gets them moving, gets them ready for circle time. And I think I say, who's ready? Who's ready to sit down? To sit down? Come sit with me. Crisscross applesauce, hands in your lap, bubble in your mouth. And once the bubble goes in their mouth, they love it because they get to pop it. And so doing different things like that. You can do the cleanup song too, the traditional cleanup song that we hear all the time, but this one just makes it a little bit more fun. And then I change it up. You know, it's not the same lyrics. I change it up depending on what I see. I might see, come on, Jojo, hurry, Jojo, come sit with us. Like if he's out doing his own thing, I might just specifically call him out and have him come over with the song. And when I say that, he looks at me, he's like hurrying it up. So, you know, you're changing it up depending on how you need to change it up is totally fine. Inclusive practices, you know, being mindful of children with special needs or disabilities. So again, you might have to adapt your circle time to activities to accommodate to these students and their abilities. Maybe you have a child who has autism and he just cannot sit right. You know, you need to be mindful of that. You need to be aware of all of your students' needs, and you need to be able to adapt and be able to make changes and be able to accommodate to those children, because not every child is the same, right? And so that concludes my webinar for today. I hope you leave with a deep understanding of the power of circle time and the tools to implement it effectively in your classrooms. Circle time is not just a routine, it's a transformative experience that can cultivate a sense of community, belonging, and active participation among your students. I encourage you to embrace this valuable practice and witness the positive impact it has on your classroom dynamics and student engagement. Thank you for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing the positive changes Circle Time will bring to your educational journey. And so we have no time left, so we might not have a chance to share. But if you have a quick, you know, YouTube video or a quick idea or a quick song or a name of a song that you wanted to share with others, go ahead quickly and put that in the chat. But thank you so much for coming, and I hopefully this was helpful. Hopefully I gave some light bulbs shining, maybe gave you some good ideas and new ways in which you can incorporate into your circle time. And so next week, our webinar will be Infant Excellence, Creating a Nurturing Environment. So if you work with infants, or if you know somebody who does and wants to come join our webinar, please let them know. My email address is right here. If you have questions already in your mind, go ahead and email me those questions, and then we will talk about it next Friday. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Darlene. And thank you all again for joining us. So some new names and some returners too. So thank you again. And I did put the link in the chat again for so that you could apply to join the Bumo Care platform if you're interested. If you have any questions too, you can still apply and then just reach out to us. But we hope to see you all again next week for our next workshop. All right, have a great weekend, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Happy Friday.